Next, we are playing the Cleveland Browns, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to be honest, we've done some research, we've done some looking, but this is the AFC North team. I'm not super familiar with a lot of Cleveland. We know Deshaun Watson at quarterback, obviously Myles Garrett, on edge, Denzel Ward. They have one of the premier defenses a year ago. Their defense is, top 10 this year, 10th total in pass, but they're 19th against the rush and 17th in total points. Their offense, on the other hand, not so great. Almost second to last in total offense, 28th in pass, 25th in rush, and 26th overall in points scored. So, guys, this is very doable game. But Will, I'll come to you first. On paper, this looks like us going against a solid veteran team with playmakers all over the place. Some reason they have not been able to consistently put that together this season. What do you think?
Yeah. I look at this roster, and the roster construction is pretty impressive. They've got three really good pass catchers in Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, and Elijah Moore. All of those guys are weapons. They have done a really good job of drafting and making shrewd free agent signings to have a really solid offensive line. They got our guy, Zach Zinter. He's already starting, guys. Remember, all in the draft, we kept talking about he's injured, he's going to fall. He's starting in Cleveland already. He was one of those guys who were like, this is a value pick because of that injury. So on paper, they've got a really good, team. It's just not putting together. Now they're down a running back, Nick Chubb being out. I don't know a whole lot about Ford. I tried to pick him up last year in fantasy. He was terrible. So I don't think he's good this year. I'm just going to assume that.
Out of Cincinnati, baby.
But, here's what I do remember. Deshaun Watson, in a game where it was, if we win, we're basically in the playoffs. He tore us apart at FedEx Field. We were the only game that he showed that he had any bit of semblance to the Houston Texans, Deshaun. And that may be the only time in this 2 or 3 years that he's been starting in Cleveland that he's looked like the old Deshaun.
Isn't that when he came back for his first game?
Yeah. And we were so pathetic that he torched us. We couldn't stop his run. We couldn't stop his passing. We couldn't, So, the rest of the league has figured him out. The last time we played it, we haven't. So I'm just hoping that these coaches can do a better job because, as you said, on paper, offense, defense, Cleveland has some really good players. They've got some studs, some Myles Garretts. They've got Zadarius Smith. They've got Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome at the corners. They've got J.O.K. Could have been a commander, So they've got players. They've got good coaches, I feel like. Jim Schwartz is a great defensive coordinator. Stefanski was great in Minnesota, which is how he became the head coach of the Browns. So this is just one of those franchises where I'm like, what is going on? Why are you guys not better?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Ab,
I would just I'd answer that, and to be contrary on what you're saying, Will, I say it is the coaching. It has to be the coaching. You know what I'm saying? They sometimes coaching doesn't fit the players. Sometimes players don't fit the coaching. And on our team, we're finally getting coaching that actually fits our players and it's built for this coaching staff, and it's wonderful. How long has his head coach had with Deshaun? What, 3 years now, maybe?
He's been in Cleveland 4 years, I think. Yeah, 3 years with him.
And it's not working.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? And then you finally get to a point you have to choose between your quarterback and your coach. They're getting to the point where, because you can't choose, because I don't know. I don't know his contract like that, but I still think you got another 2 years where you can financially get out of Deshaun Watson's contract. So that means you need to give up on the coach. So this year is a hot seat year for their head coach. And I mean, right now it's just show all these games, the games that they could win too. Like that's the thing. It's these games that they can win and they just lose and shit the bed, guys. And the fact that they're losing these games is just more emphasis on that something needs to change in Cleveland. But I don't care about that because we're going against them, and I'm all about their little dump fire over there. So let's go out there and get. I'm trying to tell you, we elevating every single way. We need to get 50 of these Bama's, bro. That's what I'm looking for. We need to get 50 on them.
5-0. Let's go.
0. That's what I want to see, guys. I'm trying to see. That will honestly, you couldn't tell me nothing. If we 50-0 on Cleveland next week, I'm doing my McGregor walk. You know what I'm saying? Just I'm trying to tell you, y'all can't tell me shit about my team if we do 50-0 on Cleveland next week.
Look, I'm with you, man. Look. This is not the same Cleveland team, that, or at least not the same Cleveland defense from a year ago that was number one. And to that point, they got to the playoffs last year, but they got to the playoffs with Joe Flacco at the helm. Deshaun wasn't even there. So clearly there's something going on there with Deshaun. They're 1-3 this year. Dallas put that hurt on them. They didn't really score till later in the ball game. They barely beat Jacksonville. And for those of you who don't know, Jacksonville's 0-4 this season in a dumpster fire. They lost to a Raiders team that's subtly imploding, and they lost to the New York Football Giants. Okay, now I know we can't sit here and say much because we beat them with 7 field goals, but we still got the dub, so we can't talk. Let's go. but to your point, they haven't looked great, and it's the pieces. Yes, we know they're there. I mean, that wide receiver core: Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore from Ole Miss. I mean, those guys are solid. JOK, 19th total tackles. Garrett, and 5th in sacks. No interceptions by their secondary. So clearly, I mean, there's something ain't working in Cleveland right now. Stefanski, they were talking about him last year. You know, is he on his way out? Well, no, the defense, and they got to the playoffs and yada, 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 but they didn't look good in that game. So I think the question becomes, really realistically looking at this game, we should stop these guys. Like, we should beat them pretty bad. Their offense is not that great. But how would we do that, Will? What do we need to focus on to get this game in our direction?
Is this keys to victory?
Oh no, I'm just throwing out.
Yeah, well, I mean, for some of it's going to have to be we got to make them essentially one-dimensional. Yusa guy said his name. Is it Jeremy Ford? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's spelled like Jerome, but I'm with you, Jeremy. We can't let him beat us. We can't let that be a thing. And I mean, I'll tell you what could be the problem right now. There's two areas with this team we got to be worried about. One is their receivers.
It is.
I mean,
Jerome. Sorry,
it is Jerome?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, their three receivers could torch us, our corners. You know, they absolutely can. And then the other thing is going to be their pass rush. This is going to be a good test. We've been, praising our offensive line. We've been praising the fact that Brandon Coleman's getting more and more snaps and is looking better. He was graded very high against the Cardinals. But you've got Myles Garrett and you've got Zadarius Smith on that team. So I think this is going to be a good test for our offensive line to see how much have they improved. Because, like I said, the Browns have players that could be forceful. Mm-hmm. I'm not sleeping on them. I'll say that.
Yeah. This is we talk about games in the past that we should have come in and whooped them, and we lay an egg because we play down to the competition. I'm trying to think that this is a team that's better coached and that will take care of business Am I safe to think that? Are we on a new path right now, or is this one of those that's like,
no, because I'm gonna say this. I agree with Will on this, is because just from a player's point of view, they match up very well on our weaknesses. Defensive line, our O line should, hands down, they should win that. Their wide receivers, our cornerbacks, our secondary, they own that. You get what I'm saying? Like, so they should make this a very uncomfortable game, theoretically. Okay, if you're just talking player, and what's that? I think the downfall is that there's something in that organization that's not clicking, and that's what I'm homing in on, and that is what I am banking on in how we play. We're vibing, we're streaking, we're doing everything right now, guys. But it is a team like Cleveland that could totally interrupt that, and it's very possible. And like and I'll say it again, they match up very well against our weaknesses.
Yes.
And it's our job to find what those to get around that, you know what I'm saying? So I can't comfortably, like, do I want a 50-0 all day? Come on. Like, but it's like, now that we're sitting here discussing apples, oranges, potato, tomato, whatever, like it's hard to see, guys. It's hard to see, because Cleveland could do an upset. Honestly, it's three. We only we're only projected to win by 3 points, or Vegas is only giving us 3 points. You know what I'm saying? And that's for a reason.
Yeah.